You good?
Yup,
You on?
yup, yup, yup.
All right. Hey, Shalom Israel. Shalom Israel.
Woo!
That's right. There we go. That's what I was. That's what I've been waiting for right there.
Yeah, man.
Finally, you know what I'm saying? Finally, the raging crowd. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh man.
Man, no, it's all good. So we're gonna go over a few things tonight. We're in this season where there are a lot of spirits about us right now, and people on the surface appear happy, but these are not the spirits that we honestly want to be around because they're driving us into a direction that is not good for us spiritually. So anyway, we're gonna go through some of the word and go through a little history just so we can get some understanding so we can correct ourselves and try to do what our father and what our father and our king want us to do. So we're going to kick it off pretty quickly. We're going to go to Exodus, and it's going to be a pretty good amount we'll go through. We'll see if we can get through it as quickly as possible. But we're going to go to Exodus 20. Exodus 20, 1 through 6. Exodus 20, 1 through 6.
All right. I got it. I got it.
Okay, let me get some of this stuff off the screen. All right, whenever you want to, brother.
And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water underneath the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me,
Mm-hmm.
and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
So already, he started off. This is, of course, Exodus 20 is where we find what is called the Ten Commandments. Though we know there are many more commandments, laws, and statutes than 10. However, we see that it kicks off with talking about not putting him first. Basically, you should have no other gods before the Most High, and of course, not having any graven images, which is another word for saying idols. We're not to have any idols. A graven image is an image, whether it be literally an image like a piece of art or a painting or a drawing. It could be a statue. It could be an object. It could be a plant. It could be anything that you use in a worship sense. You worship it or has something to do with representing um, uh, what you would call God, but it's certainly not the Most High and Yah because they tell us not to do any of those things. You have to do Nick?
Also, for those who are watching and recording, Baruch chapter 6, once again, is a great chapter on fake gods and a lot of idol worship. So, if anybody's interested, I want to learn about, well, heathens' gods, but also technically the Israelites when they went off as well. Baruch chapter 6 is a great chapter to watch about graven images and things that were made with hands that we were not meant to worship.
Hallelujah. And unfortunately, like we can look back in the Bible and say, "Oh, these people were stupid. How could they think that this is a God and blah blah blah?" But we are still doing the same things today, using these different images or graven images. You see them statues in people's
Everywhere.
houses everywhere, man. Stores. Some of them are logos for popular corporations all over the place. So they are everywhere. We just don't recognize them and understand that they are actually graven images used by many people in a sense of worship, even by ourselves, and don't realize it. If you're asleep. Let's go to 22 through 25.
And the Lord said unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall you make unto you gods of gold.
Mhm.
An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen, in all places where I record my name, I will come unto thee and bless thee.
Mhm.
And if thou make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it on hew stone, for if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou shalt pollute it.
Okay, so what we're saying is something that most of us have completely mixed up. We don't dictate how we worship the Most High. He dictates how we worship Him. He tells us what to do, and we do it. If we do something opposite, or we doing something that's other than what He tells us to do in terms of worship, we're not worshiping Him. We're doing our own thing, and that's abominable to Him. It's literally disrespectful, So my God knows me and blah all this other type stuff. Nah, well, the most important thing is we need to know him and do what he tells us to do. So again, all of again he's telling us about these other images, not to make images of silver and gold and all these other things. Again, these are just graven images and idols. We see them all throughout the word. Let's go to Deuteronomy 13. Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 11. Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 11. Let's get that up on the screen. Deuteronomy 13, 1 through 11.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and giveth thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, wherefore he speak unto thee, saying, Let us go after other gods which thou hast not known, and let us serve them, thou shalt
Mhm.
not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all soul.
So again, a prophet, we all know what a prophet is. Someone is prophesying that something is going to happen or predicting or saying that something is going to happen. A dreamer of dreams is the same thing. It's the same thing. So giveth thee a sign or a wonder doesn't mean that they're like working some magic. They're telling you what is going to come about. So it says that those things do come to pass, that if they don't come to pass, let me see, in the sign of the one that come to pass, where if he's spoken to thee, saying, let us go after other gods. So in other words, um, these false people will give you these predictions. They'll say these things. They'll say these so-called prophecies, but what they're going to subtly do is couple what they're saying with other worship practices or other religious practices or other or false gods. So that's what it means by when he's saying and they say let us go after other gods. They're slightly, sometimes they're very obvious because sometimes they make no bones about it. Hey, we're in witchcraft. This is what we do. Some of them say it straight out, but a lot of things are done subtly. In Christianity, sometimes even amongst Israelites, they know that they're Israelites. So we have to study up and understand things for ourselves so that we do not go astray. Because there have been prophecies about when Yahweh Shah is coming back that did not come to pass. And these are major, camps and organizations that people are following. And we're going to see what in olden times what was supposed to happen to situations like that. Because again, we're veering off his path. Um, we did three. Let's do four. So
You sh-
first of all, don't listen to these people. Do not listen to these people because they're taking you away. And what the Most High is doing is He's proving who you're going to obey. He's proving you. So let's go to four.
you shall walk after the Lord your God, and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him, and cleave unto him.
Not that prophet, not that person that's saying this and saying that, not that dreamer, not this person that says God spoke to me. No, we listen to the Most High. We listen to Yahweh Shah, who represents the Most High. All right, let's go to five.
And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has
He-
spoken to
Go
turn
ahead.
you away from the Lord your God.
So that's what the problem is, and this is why we have to have a very keen eye and have our spiritual eyes open at all times, so we can detect what's going on, so we can discern what's happening. So let's read that. Let's start from the beginning and see what is supposed to happen to these people that are taking us are steering us away from the Most High. Let's read that again.
And that the prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the hand of house of bondage, to
Hmm.
thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in.
Hmm.
So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee.
So that is evil. That is evil. So of course we're not judgment, because this is this is technically judging. This is a judgment. We have law, statutes, commandments, and judgments. Judgments when you sin. So the judgment for doing this would be death. Right now, that judgment is suspended. So we're not going to go and put somebody to death because they lied. Okay, we don't do that right now. But this lets us know what the Most High's penalty was in the past and what He thinks about it, and what certainly is going to happen to these people when the time is right. Just not by our hand right now. All right. Um, let's keep on going.
If thy brother, thy son, or thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods which thou hast not known, thou nor thy fathers,
Mm-hmm.
namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto you, or far from thee, from the end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him, neither shall thy eye pity him, neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him.
Excuse me. Mm-hmm.
But thou shalt surely kill him, thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hands of all the people.
Mm-hmm.
And thou shalt stone him with stones, that he die, because he hath sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more any wickedness as this is among you.
God. So of course, the law, statutes, and commandments. This is part of the covenant that is between the Most High and Israel. So these are law, statutes, and commandments that Israel, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, the biblical nation of Israel, is supposed to is commanded to follow. And we see that this relationship that He has with us, each individually, is very, very important to Him, and He expects it to be very, very important to us, such that we only put Him first as He started off. Nothing is, not just no other gods above Him, but nothing comes above Him. Not your brother, not your mother, not your son, not your daughter, not your wife, not any of your friends. Nobody comes before Him. And again, this everything we've read so far is about other people or things um, pulling you away from His way, the way, which is His way, the law, statutes, and commandments, and that covenant, taking you away from Him, which is a problem because He is a jealous El. He's a jealous God, as He said. So He must come first. And then the other key thing here, excuse me, is that again we don't recognize, especially in this time right now. Let me see if I can find it. Namely of the other gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, near unto you, or far from you, from the one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. So in other words, don't follow the gods of the people around you, these other nations and stuff like that. Do not go after their gods. It's a problem. It's a huge problem. So the focus must be on Him. All right, let's go to John. Let's go to First John 5:17 through 21. First John 5:17 through 21. We're gonna keep things moving.
All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death.
All unrighteousness is sin. That's right. Hmm.
And we know that whoever so is born of Yahweh sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not.
Hmm.
And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
God, this is an evil world. This is a very evil world.
And we know that the Son of God is come and have given us understanding that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true, even his Son, Yahushua Christ. This is true God and eternal life.
Hmm.
Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Amen.
So again, we see that the focus is on knowing Him, on doing what He commands, on being righteous and staying away from unrighteousness. And as I mentioned when it first started off, all unrighteousness is sin. All unrighteousness is sin. So righteousness is doing the law, statutes, and commandments, doing the things that He's told us to do. If we're not doing those things, we're doing unrighteousness. We're doing sin. That's against Him, and it's against our own souls. And of course, He ends that with telling us that we need to stay away from idols. Little children, children of Israel, keep yourselves from idols. So again, this whole idol thing it keeps on coming up. So it must be something serious, a serious problem in the nation of Israel. Let's go back to Deuteronomy. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 16. So I can get up on the screen. Give me one quick second. Deuteronomy 16. And these are things that we just need to be looking out for constantly because we don't want to fall into these traps because that's exactly what they are, traps of the enemy. Deuteronomy 16, 21 and 22.
Either shalt thou set the
16,
21.
21. Yeah, sorry, 21. Yeah.
Thou shalt not plant thee a grove of any trees near unto the altar of the Lord thy God, which thou shalt make thee.
Mm-hmm.
Neither shalt thou set up any image which the Lord thy God hateth.
That's pretty curious. For some reason, he's mentioning a grove
Trees.
of trees, a grove of any trees. And then, right, and then right after that, he talks about not setting up any image, an image that he hateth, an image that he hates. So we got groves and groves of trees, and then all of a sudden, he goes right to talking about an image. And we know we just read some of the very, very many scriptures about graven images and idols and stuff like that. So he's reiterating over and over again what he does not like. Not only does he not like it, he hates it. You
Yep.
know, so I wonder why has feels the need to continue to specify this to the children of Israel. A grove of trees. Let's go back to Exodus again. I'm going to go to Exodus. Hey, go ahead, Judah.
Okay, and remember, the Father knows what's going to happen before it happens. So imagine he knows all his people are going to go off and do specific things. And normally, he just said he hates a glow, like trees being built near his altar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an image, which is basically another idol. And what's the
Mm-hmm.
most, what do you call it? The most celebrative time of the year in pretty much the whole world now is Christmas. But
Yeah.
hey, for those who want to put two and two, you should really see it. It's quite clear as day. But hey,
Very, very, very clear. And there are other representations as well, like Asherah poles, groves of trees, which we see many times in the scriptures as well. So that's good, Judah Nick. Let's go to Exodus 34. Exodus 34, 12 through 17. Exodus 34, 12 through 17.
take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
So again, he's warning us about making a covenant and doing basically with the inhabitants of the land where we're going. He's warning us against making a covenant with them and heeding and doing the things that they're going to do. Let's keep on going.
But you shall
13.
destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves.
So he hates these images, and certainly he tells us to cut down these groves. It's a problem. It's a problem. So not just where we were, and not just where we were going at that point, because we weren't even in the land yet, but because we were going in that period of time, we were going into these other lands and having to conquer these other lands, by His might. We saw a lot of the things that they were doing, and just like when we were in Egypt, when our forefathers and foremothers were in Egypt. Egypt had tons of different idols and false gods and stuff like that. And just like this nation we're in right now, when we were there, we were accustomed to their way of doing things. So we have to be broken from the ways of these other nations in the ways that they're doing things. We have to return to the way of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. All right. So we're supposed to cut down those images, break their images, destroy their altars, and cut down their groves. you know. So let's do 14.
For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
His name is jealous, and whose name is jealous, and he is jealous. So it's a big problem. He don't play that. Again, Nick began when he was just speaking, like he said, the father knows what's going to happen, but think about it. What if your family betrayed you? What you give all that you can to your family, you're good to them, and they betray you. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. Well, Israel is the family of Yah and Yahweh, and that's precisely what we did and what we're doing. Uh, yeah, Judah.
And also to make it even worse, like these idols that the Israel want to chase after, right? These images and all these man-made things, they weren't even alive. That like I would understand worshiping a person because they can do something for you in a sense, right? But they weren't even alive. They had even in scriptures they had to fake gods being alive, and they got caught for doing it, and people got killed for that. So they went after things that weren't even alive. Do you know how I, I can understand why the father would hate it and want to like destroy Israel for that.
God.
Like that's gee, it's not even a lie.
Look, man, it's crazy. And again, it seems so crazy. Like, when we look back and we read it, it's so obvious, but the same thing is happening today. I'll give a prime example. You mentioned, Christmas trees. Well, we got this Santa Claus situation, right? What is Santa Claus was supposed to eat? What do the kids like suppose? What do they leave for him? Supposedly leave for him when he comes? Milk,
Candy?
milk and cookies.
Okay,
Milk,
okay. Okay, what?
milk and milk and cookies. Santa Claus supposedly likes milk and cookies, you know. So when your kids are younger, many people will say, "Hey, kids, let's make bake some cookies for Santa and leave him a glass of milk and cookies." So when Santa Claus comes, he'll be welcome in your home when he drops off the presents for the family, and he can eat the little milk and cookies when he's there. So who was eating the milk and cookies?
Probably the dad and mom when when the kids are asleep.
They're pretending that this God, somebody ate this thing. It's the same thing. It's a sacrifice that you're giving to a God. And then you're pretending that this God that is not alive, so he ate this thing that you left him. It's the exact same thing that you were just talking about, dog. And we still do it today. And we know that we're doing it today. We know that they're not eat that we ate it or whatever the case is. It's the same thing that still goes on today.
And then they're gonna say, "We're doing it for the kids. We're doing it for the kids." Yeah, you definitely are doing it for the kids.
Yeah, yeah, but we just read earlier that look, if your brother is taking you away from the Most High, your wife, your mother, your kids, your son and daughter, it's a problem. So if you're doing this thing for the kids, it is not an excuse. The Most
so,
High hates
so also legally speaking, right? Legally speaking, according to law, your kids could kill your parents.
it. In that situation. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you're trying to take them away from the
yeah,
Most High.
crazy.
I know it ain't gonna feel right, but look, it's a problem. It is an absolute problem. All right. Let's see, where were we? Where we did we do? Let's do 15 through 17.
Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods. One call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt take of their daughter unto thy sons, and their daughters go a whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a whoring after their gods.
Mm-hmm.
Thou shalt make thee no molten gods.
So again, all of this stuff started out with what? Destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. We're seeing a repeated pattern here, repeated concerns, by the Most High. And in addition to that, he's talking about what's happening in these lands, where we're going into, where there are already inhabitants there. So, in other words, it's not our land. So he's wanting us not to go and deal with these people. First of all, we're supposed to marry among ourselves to keep our nation pure, which did not happen. But we know that's in the word now. So Israelites, you're supposed to marry and make families with other Israelites only. That's according to the word, because it says here, when we deal with people of other nations, they can make our daughters go a whoring away from, go a whoring after other gods, and the females of other nations can make our sons go a whoring after other gods. In other words, pushing us away from Yahweh and Yahweh. And that's a major offense. And he ends it again with, thou shalt make thee no molten gods. Nothing comes before him. Judah Nick?
And also, wasn't didn't Solomon do this also
Mm-hmm.
when he had a foreign woman or strange woman?
Yep.
We wasn't meant to marry them anyway legally, but Solomon did what he did, and look what happened to him. He got punished for it. So
And we are to still begin getting punished for it, because that was the reason why the nation broke into two, split into two in the first place, because of his folly, and we continue to follow after, his folly. And not only was he marrying them and having children with them, but he also was building them altars to their false gods. I mean, it's just crazy. So again, that's exactly what the Most High said was going to happen. You marry them, and they're going to make you go a whoring after their gods. And that's what Solomon did. He went off. The wisest man to ever live went off, you know. So again, it's wise if we follow what the word says and do what the word says. But again, we're seeing all these idols. We're talking about all of these idols, and we also see a whole lot of tree talk. So we're going to see where that brings us to. Um, and again, it's certainly befitting given where we are in this time of year right now. Let's go to Jeremiah 10. We're going to do Jeremiah 10, 1 through 8.
hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus
Mhm.
saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, be not made at the heaven, for the heathens are dismayed at them.
So again, he's wanting us not to do as the heathen do. Again, just like he said, don't deal like the people that are around about you. These people that you're living amongst, or what have you. Don't do like them. Don't be like the heathen. All right, 3.
So, like, before we continue, I want to get something out because some of our brothers and sisters actually worship the sun. Now, the sun is technically speaking is alive, and in some scientific sense, it technically does give life in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is still something created by the Father. So
That's
people
correct.
need to not worship that because we did do that back in the past.
Look, if we really look at it, and it's going to be hard for people to believe and understand that, but Christianity is a sun worshiping religion. You're not worshiping the Elohim of the Bible. You're worshiping the sun. It goes back to, you probably won't tackle all that right now. It really goes back to all the way to ancient Babylon. Uh, and it just comes all the way down under different names. But Christianity is a sun worshiping religion.
Hence
You're
the
worshiping the sun.
Sunday's church service. But I got a verse to come out just for clarification because I know a lot of brothers and sisters. I came across one person who worshipped the sun. I couldn't believe it. I thought they was
Wow.
joking, but it
Mm.
was like, yeah, like this. I get the sun's a lie, but it doesn't do that much for you. I get it. I get it. I get it. But
I
this
guess not the
is
most.
yeah. This is
Mhm.
Acts 7:42.
Okay,
Are
I
you
get it.
gonna? Okay, cool.
7 to 42.
Yeah.
All right, I'm almost there. Share my screen. Okay. The
So
God, I'll read it. It's Acts 7 and 40 and 42. Then God turned and gave them up to worship the host of heaven, as it is written in the book of the prophets. O ye house of Israel, have you offered to me slain beasts and sacrifices by the space of 40 years in the wilderness?
oh yeah. So if you change that to the NIV version, it also literally says the sun and the moon and the stars. So it's even worse. And
God.
also, I got a precept.
And
So
those are the hosts of heaven. Hmm.
can we get Deuteronomy 4 and 19?
Deuteronomy. Four, two, sure. There we go. Deuteronomy 4:19. And lest thou lift up thine eyes unto heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, shouldst be driven to worship them and serve them, which the Lord thy God have divided unto all nations under the whole heaven. It says it right there. The sun, moon, and the stars, even when we see him say even, that means it's just repeating the same thing that he just said. It's just using a different term. So the sun and the moon and the stars, even all the host of heaven, the host of heaven, he's just repeating what he just said using another term. The host of heaven is the sun, the moon, and the stars, just like Judah Nick just said. And we're literally doing that again right here. It seems like it's so very obvious in the Bible, but in today's practice and also in different religions throughout time, the words and terms change just a little bit, but you're doing the exact same practices, which means you're doing the exact same things. When you go to the origin and the root of everything, you're still worshiping the sun, moon, and stars and some other stuff that folks then created. You're not worshiping the Most High, the Elohim of the Bible, and that's a significant problem. It's not going to end well for those that
One
do that.
last one.
Mhm.
All right, can we get Wisdom of Solomon 13, chapter 13, verse 2 and 3?
Hold on. Let me see. Let me get the wisdom of Solomon. Um, oops. Wisdom of Solomon. What was it again?
Chapter 13, verse 2 and
Wisdom of Solomon. Oh, 13, 2. Okay. All right. The Wisdom of Solomon is in the Apocrypha, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yes.
Uh, so good. Is this big enough for you to? Well, I
Yeah,
guess I got
yeah.
it.
I mean, it's up to you. I don't, oh,
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, chapter 13, verse 2. But deemed either fire or wind or the swift air or the circle of the stars or the violent water or the lights of heaven to be the gods which govern the world. Goodness.
continue, 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 continue.
With whose beauty, if they being delighted, took them to be gods. Let them know how much better the Lord of them is, for the first author of beauty have created them. Most High created stuff.
And
Yeah,
we can read one more verse, the last one.
sure.
Because
Hey,
remember,
Anthony, how you doing,
because
brother?
because technically, remember the stars. I mean, some ordinances of the stars technically do give, in sense, some form of power, but we just should I read it? I got it.
Which, where is it?
Verse 4, verse 4.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I get it. But if they were astonished at the power and but if they were astonished at their power and virtue, let them understand by them how much mightier he is that made them.
Um, actually, what I was saying earlier. So
God.
technically, they're not wrong, but that is not what the Father wanted them to worship, because that is His creation.
Yeah, when he says they're not wrong, he's saying that it's not wrong that they support life, but it's the
Mm,
Most High that's created all of these things, and they are just creations of Him. And nothing replaces the Most High, and nothing replaces Yahweh Shai, nor their word. But this world will certainly steer you in the wrong direction.
true.
So that's why we're talking about this stuff, so we can get back on point. Let's get back to Jeremiah. Here's my share button. I'll lose it every time. All right. We're gonna see if we can speed it up a little bit. Jeremiah, we're back in Jeremiah 10. Um,
Free, free, free.
are we in Jeremiah? Did we make it
Yeah,
there?
yeah. We have verse 3.
Okay. Let's start at Jeremiah 1.
Free,
We
free,
were
verse 3, free, verse 3. Verse 3. I cut us off before the Christmas stuff started.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
that'll
yeah,
get it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's read Jeremiah 10 and 3. Mhm.
Yep. For the customs of the people are vain, so pointless. For one cutteth a tree out of a forest, the work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
Hmm.
They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers that it move not. So, E, you want to pause that and explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, these are customs. Customs are tradition. The customs or the traditions of the people are vain. They mean nothing. They're worthless, just like Judah said. They cutteth a tree out of the forest. Where y'all getting your Christmas trees from? They were cut down, the ones that are real, and then you have some imitation ones, but they're being cut down out of a grove of trees, and then you're gonna bring this thing into your living room, into your house somewhere, or go to the president, what is the White House or wherever these things are scattered all over the place, and behold them. As though there's some great things, but they are all the work of the hands of a workman with the axe that have cut these things down, and they deck it or decorate it with silver and with gold. So these are all the little ornaments and all this other stuff that you're putting on these trees, and then you're fastening them with nails and hammers. In other words, what we do now is we put them in tree stands so that they don't move, so they don't fall down. This is a Christmas tree, ladies and gentlemen. A Christmas tree is an idol, and it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. So you're doing this thing thinking that you're um, praising baby Jesus or whatever you.
Never.
But what you're really doing is you're serving an idol. You got you are committing an abomination, and you have an abomination in your house, and
Uh,
you're making your kids commit an abomination and be happy about it. It's a horrible thing, and he despises it. He said his name is jealous because he is a jealous God. It's a problem. All right, go ahead.
and you also got to remember the father said he hates it if y'all was here from the beginning. So
He
I
hates it.
I wouldn't want to be doing something the father hates. That's what me personally. I don't know about y'all, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's not an honor. It's a complete dishonor. It's an abomination. It's abominable to him. He hates it, and that's again both him and Yahweh Shai. They hate it. All right, go ahead.
they are upright as the palm tree. Ain't palm trees those really long straight trees that go up and then they sprout at the top? Man, this
God,
is clearly a Christmas tree, man. How can you?
very clear, dog. Very
Alright,
clear.
they are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. They they must needs be born because they cannot go. Be
Hmm.
not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil, nor also is it in them to do good.
Because they're not alive, just like Judah just said. And when it says they needs to be born, that means you need to bear them. You need to pick them up in order for them to move. They can't do it by themselves because they cannot go. So being born in this situation just means you have to pick them up and move them because they're powerless. They're daggone objects. All right, 6.
For as much as there is none like unto thee, O Lord, thou art great, and thy name is great in might.
So we need to correct ourselves and understand that that's garbage, and we need to understand who our Elohim is.
Who would not fear thee, O King of nations? For to thee doeth it
Appertain.
appertain, for as much as among all the wise men of the nations and in all their kingdoms there is none like unto thee.
Hmm.
But they are altogether brutish and foolish. The stock is a doctrine of vanities.
That's what your holidays are. That's what your Christmas is. That's what your New Year's celebration is. It's brutish and foolish for us to celebrate that stuff. It's all just a stock. It's the doctrine of vanities, worthless things that we're doing. Let's go down to 14.
Every man is brutish in knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them.
Read.
They are vanity and the work of errors in the time of their visitation perish.
It's not talking about the tree is going to die. The time of when he visits us, those that are doing these things are going to perish. That's the they shall perish. These are people. So again, you think that you're honoring, you got it all up in your church and all this other. The church has got the Christmas trees. They got the big wreaths on top of the phallic symbol in front of their on top of their temple. Another idol. Um, another idol. You think that you're doing something to honor it, and you're being taught that you're doing something to honor it. But these people are steering you away from the Creator. It's a problem. It's an error. 16.
The portion of Jacob is not like them. So that's once again a separation from everybody else because Jacob comes from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
For he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. Lord
Mm-hmm.
of hosts is his name.
So we're saying Israel is not like all of these people that are doing that are doing these brutish things. But because Israel, when it says he's talking about the nation of Israel, the descendants of Israel, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So all of his descendants are the rod of the inheritance of Yahushua. Literally, the wife of Yahushua is the nation of Israel. And we're not like these other nations. So that's why he's given us specific instructions on what to do and what not to do. Let's go to 19. Let's go 19 through 21.
Woe is me, for my hurt, my wound is grievous. But I said, truly, this is a grief, I must bear it.
Mm-hmm.
My tabernacle is spoiled, and all my cords are broken. My children are gone forth of me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent any more, and to set up my curtains.
So this is truly mourning. This is saying that my family has left me. All my cords are broken. So everything that was tying me to my people, they've been broken. Your family has left you. My children are gone forth from me. Of me means they're gone forth from me. They are not. When it says they are not, that means they're not alive anymore. And that means we're spiritually dead. My children, the children of Israel, are gone forth of me, which means from me, and they are not. There is none to stretch forth my tent anymore and set up my curtains. Stretching forth his tent means continuing his house. The tent is like your house, your home, your lineage. There's no one else to continue his ways. So this is a great um, uh, word of mourning right here. All right, 21.
For the pastors are become brutish and have not sought the Lord, therefore they shall not prosper, and all their flocks shall be shattered.
So just as we just mentioned, these are pastors of Israel, Israelite pastors. We're teaching our people the wrong thing and going off and going in the wrong direction. And because of that, we've become brutish, just like the other nations who we're following after in the first place. So as we said to everyone, that was we were talking about Christmas and some of these other holidays. It really goes for all of these different holidays because they are holidays, not holy days. Holidays of these different countries and different lands that we're in, and we're celebrating them because we're taught to celebrate them. We don't know why or anything like that. We're just going along with it, and when we do that stuff, we are participating in the abomination, and it's a terrible thing that we are doing against the Most High. It's unrighteous, and we're aligning ourselves with the enemy, which makes us an enemy of Yahweh and the Most High. That's not a good position to be in. So we need to correct ourselves and get away from these brutish pastors that are teaching us the wrong thing. And that's the majority of them. That's why we have to get back to this word in this book ourselves. But anyway, here's one that's actually telling the truth, but still sprinkles in something to persuade us to continue to go through with it. It's craziness. Let's take a look.
Friends who do not celebrate Christmas because they say December 25th is really a pagan holiday. While I agree that Jesus may not have been born on December 25th, he certainly was born as described in the Bible. How do I respond to them?
Well, in a sense, tell them they're right. Tell them they're right.
He's telling the truth. Tell them they're right. It's pagan, pagan, pagan.
You see, the winter solstice a couple of days later was the shortest day of the year, and the pagans had something called Saturnalia. And it was a time of lawlessness because all the laws were suspended, and people, a bunch of singers who actually wandered the streets naked singing, and then they had orgies. It was a mass thing. Well, when the Catholic Church came along in Italy, the Romans and others didn't want to give up their holidays, so they said, okay, we'll Christianize it. And so they said, okay, we'll say the birth of Jesus was the 25th of December.
You hear this character joking about it? When he says Christianize it, it just means that they're going to adopt some pagan practices. And then he joked about it. He just like, oh, then we're going to say that the birth of Jesus was December 25th. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes.
And then there was a monk who began to add it up. You see, if you read in Luke, it says there's a census taken when Quirinius was governor and so forth and so on. And they could take those leaders and figure the exact time dating from the foundation of Rome. And that's when the dates were established. And so they get pretty close to the date. But to say it's the 25th, shepherds were out abiding in the field. It gets a little cold at night. I mean, were they out there in the middle of winter? I don't know. I've been out there on the shepherd's field and on Christmas Eve. It's very nice. But it's cold. And nevertheless, I mean, what was going on? So all this business about mistletoe, pagan. Christmas trees, pagan. Giving out gifts, pagan. Every bit of it is pagan. Every single bit of it is pagan. We've Christianized it all. And so that's good. And so we have time. We celebrate for Jesus.
Craziness. So he says, so that's good. And he sit down there, he revealed the whole history, and that's a major broadcast, reveal the whole history. That's an old clip, a very old clip. The information is out there. There's no excuse for us to not know. And that's why when Yahweh comes, some of us are not going to be here. Well, some of us are going to be taken, if you know what taken means. It's not taken to paradise. Anyway, but we all have an opportunity. We all have access to his word. We all have access to his word. And there's plenty of information showing us that this thing is a false situation. Nick?
And to back up the statement you just made, the Father also says in Hosea, I think 4:6, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. But he also said, I will reject thee. So we're getting rejected not only because we don't have knowledge, because we reject it. So, hey man, as I said, as G just said, there's so much information about everything, bro. So it's like you don't really have to open your eyes. It's pretty much there. It's just either turn a blind eye or you just do what you want to do, man. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's how he takes it. He's like, my word is here, is right there, and all of this other information is right there. And then you have the lies that are there too, and you're rejecting the truth. You're rejecting my word. You're rejecting the history of things that are actually out there, and you do have to dig for that. I will absolutely say you have to dig for that, but it's no longer very difficult to do it. To be honest with you, all you gotta do is look up any holiday and put origins behind it. Yep. And you'll see a bunch of information. But you're accepting these other gods and you're rejecting him. So why would he accept you if you're going to reject him? Isn't he? Would you, or is that the way that you would do other people? Nah, he's not down with that. But let's take a look at some of this stuff again. That's very, very easy to find. And we're talking about, I know Christmas is past already. So if you celebrated it, think about how to do things next year. It's too late, but we're gonna talk about a few other things as well.
Not even next year, in the future. We don't know how many years we got left, but do better. Right. Do better.
So like right here, this is this is an image here, and there are plenty of them, but it says the Asherah Merry Tree Celebrations. In a word, you'll hear about the Asherah poles, which again is a tree. So the wooden groves, it represents these different practices, but you see this it looks similar to a Christmas tree with like the star on top, all of these little decorations on a Christmas tree. But anyway, we'll talk about a little bit of that. We're going to read a little bit right here. It says Jesus and his apostles, so we know Jesus is not the real name, and his apostles never celebrated Christmas. And just to read some of this commentary, The Yahweh command his followers to celebrate his birthday every year by decorating Christmas trees in their homes. Bible scholars will emphatically say no. Then where did these customs originate from? It is a historical fact that Joseph, Mary, Jesus, the 12 apostles, and the 120 disciples never celebrated Yahushai's birthday on December 25th or any other day of the year. So they never celebrated his birth. It's not birthday. We're not even supposed to celebrate birthdays. It's not in the Bible.
Um,
Uh, now, why? Go ahead,
okay, and
Judah.
also, I believe only King Herod, an Edomite, and Pharaoh, an Egyptian, a Hamite, celebrated their birthdays. Maybe some other people, but those are two main, you know, people, and they're both heathen. So this was no way ever an Israelite custom tradition, not at all.
God,
Birthday celebrations is not part of our history at all.
God, it is self-worship. And it's
Um,
actually the satanic Bible, the Satanists say that it's their highest day. A person's birthday is their highest holiday. The holy day to them, the highest holy day to them is one's birthday because it's worshiping oneself when we're told to worship Yah and Yahweh Shai and no one else. No one else. And so that's a problem. It says in the last days, men will be lovers of themselves, and we clearly see that that's been going on for quite some time, and it's even more evident with social media and people putting the camera in their face all of that one time. It's craziness.
Also, to make it even more prevalent, like how it is, because people feel some type of way if people don't give them gifts on their birthday. They be like, oh, they ain't get you no present. Oh, they're not my friend no more. Oh, they're not my family no more. Like, bro, this is how you know it's literally crazy. Like, all of this because someone won't give you a gift on a specific day. You know, you'll basically pretend to be God on that day. Literally.
And we know that we're presenting gifts. That's a thing of worship in that regard. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're giving somebody something that you're worshiping them, but this is an event. This is a particular day that you're expecting to give gifts for a particular reason. That's why this is a problem. It is a day of worship, worshiping yourself, and you're expecting other people to come worship you, just like Judah Dick just said. It's craziness. It's not biblical. It's against the word of. Um, oops. Let's see here. Um, on December 25th. Now, why would I say something like that? Because the first century Jewish, and we know these are Israelites, really. This is not the Jewish people that they're talking about right now, but the Israelites. The first century Israelite historian Josephus has noted that Israelite families or Jew families did not celebrate birthdays. Nay, indeed, the law does not permit us to make festivals at the birth of our children and thereby afford occasion of drinking to excess. So this is a quote from the writings of Josephus. Josephus is an Israelite historian he was around during the time of Yahweh, actually, as a matter of fact. But he's wrote many books and documented many things that were going on at that time. Nay, indeed, the law does not permit us to make festivals at the birth of our children, and thereby that lets you know that Josephus is an Israelite because he says our children. He is an Israelite, and thereby afford occasion of drinking to excess, to getting drunk or partying just because your birthday. For the let me see if I want to read this. For the first 300 years, the birth of Christ wasn't celebrated in December or any other day of the year. The celebration of birthdays, including that of Yahweh, I'll just say Jesus right now because that's what people are celebrating, and it's wrong. including the celebration of birthdays, including that of Jesus, was rejected as a pagan, heathen tradition by the apostles and all of Yahweh Shai's disciples. For one thing, the astrological implications of the celebration of the birthdays, pagan practices like astrology, are specifically prohibited in the Bible. The prophet Isaiah warns Yah's people to stop seeking advice from stargazers and astrologers who worship the false gods made of wood and gold that cannot save them. He advised them to listen only to the Lord their God, and that's Isaiah 47:48. In addition, Christians for the first 3 centuries did not want to be associated with many pre-Christian pagan religions. So in this situation, Christians are actually Israelites, we'll just say, or followers of Yahushua, because things began to get a little mixed up in terms of the way that they say things. But again, these are pre Yahushai pagan rituals that people were doing. But I'll read it just for clarification the way that they wrote it. In addition, Christians for the first 3 centuries did not want to be associated with many pre-Christian pagan religions that honored their sun god's birthday, just like Judah Nick just said, sun god sun god's birthday on the 25th of December, the winter solstice. So again, that is celebrating the sun god's birthdays on December 25th. Um, so the history of Christmas trees, again, it goes all over the place, far and wide. The history of Christmas trees has many roots, ranging from the use of evergreens in ancient Egypt and Rome to the German traditions of candlelit trees that made its way to America in the 1800s. And this is the History Channel's website. Discover the history, I'm sorry, of the Christmas tree with the earliest winter solstice celebrations to Queen Victoria's decorating habits and the annual lighting of the Rockefeller
Oh
Center.
my days! You need
Yeah.
to see that name. You should know. Oh, X.
But you see how this history is going all the way to Egypt, Rome,
Oh,
Germany.
yeah.
Does it say Israel anywhere?
Oh,
Nowhere. Has nothing to in the summary. It doesn't even mention Yahweh or it has nothing to do with Yahweh or the Most High whatsoever. Let's take another look at this. You want to take it? Can you? Is this clear to read?
yeah.
Might be small. You want to go ahead and read this real quick?
Evergreen trees were important fertility emblems for pre-Christians. Oh, ceremonies marking the winter solace. People from
Solstice.
solstice.
And I just
People.
want to I just want to stress this real quick. The evergreen tree was an important fertility emblem. So that tree is a god of fertility, a god of life. That tree you have is a phallic symbol. The Christmas tree is a phallic symbol. The man's genitalia. That's what you have in your living room. That's what this is. It's a fertility god.
And
All right.
and if anyone was here earlier, that's why he was talking about them having their orgies and group get-togethers on that day. So yeah.
Yeah, you but it has this just to let you know, Nick, this has your favorite G word. I've been here just to
Uh,
prepare.
okay, let me
Okay,
practice in my head.
it's coming, brother. All right, let's go ahead. People from ancient.
People from ancient societies believed by decorating their homes and temples with evergreen plants such as molly, ivy, and mistletoe, they
Holly,
were
Holly,
oh,
like
sorry,
Holly. Yeah, go ahead.
they
Ivy and
were
mistletoe.
they were helping to carry the diminished sun through a critical period. Mistletoe
Mhm.
was the most sacred plant of the Druids.
Not Israelites, it's
Uh,
somebody else. Mm-hmm.
it was given great reverence or
Mm-hmm.
respect because it grows on the venerated oak. The custom of kissing under the mistletoes comes from the ancient idea that mistletoe is the oak.
Yeah.
Wait. So wait, wait. It's the actual one right now, right?
Yeah.
Genitals, okay.
There you go. There you
And
go. There you go. There you go. You got it, dog. You got it, dog. But here we go again. We have a venerated oak. That's a tree. We got plants. We got the mistletoe, and they respected it because the mistletoe is the oak's genitals, fertility. It goes back to these different things, and this is again we're talking about the evergreen tree. All right, right here, and so
and so it was believed that an embrace under its glistening berries was sure guarantee of a fruitful union.
getting
So they
pregnant.
was getting jiggy underneath the tree.
So
So
when you
it's
got this mistletoe, when you hang and you're hanging these little berries up in front over your head, those berries are supposed to represent the males.
that's crazy, bro. People are
Uh-huh.
weird, bro.
Yeah. Don't even know why you do it, but you get all they show it in the movies like it's like
Oh
it's a
yeah, and they
they
used to actually like, and they used to have a little cutscene there. That's wow, it's all coming back. That's crazy.
and that's what that represents. So we're doing stuff, customs of people around us, and we don't even understand why we're doing it. That's why we got to research this stuff. Um, but it's supposed to be a guarantee of a fruitful union that somebody's going to get pregnant. That's what fertility is, fertile. So again, goes back to it being a sex god, a sex thing. All right, go ahead. The decoration.
Decoration of Christmas, survival of pagan tree veneration was
Mhm.
centuries before Christianity. Holly was used for celebrating their midsummer Saturnalia, midwinter Saturnalia.
So all of these things are again pagan, 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 pagan. So we got to research it. So just to go even further, we were talking about December 25th. Where did that come from? Again, we're talking about this winter solstice, but even before that, 16 pagan gods born on the 25th of December. Has nothing to do with Jesus or Yahweh. This is just some of them. Mithras, the Persian god of light and truth, was worshipped by Roman soldiers and emperors. He was born from a rock and killed. All of this stuff is, these are fables. This is all fables, so it's going to sound wild, but this is what people are worshiping. And again, the names have changed throughout time, but the customs have remained the same. So this December 25th thing is not what you have been taught to believe it is. Judah.
Um, there is a game called Smite. Right. Oh, this is kind of out of the blue for those who are watching. There's a game called Smite, right? And they have
Mhm.
so-called champions, no, gods, right? That you use as characters that you play in, and they're all fake gods, right? And they even have their bios, and they're actually legitimate bios that you can read, and they have the origins, the regions of where these gods come from, and the whole. I promise you, if anyone has played that game or has seen the characters in the game, you see Ra in there, Osiris, Odin, Apollo, all of them, and they keep adding new ones, new ones, and new ones, and I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. So that's even a quick way by the games you play, you can even see where these stuff come from, and they literally have origins. They tell you where it's from. It's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, they in comic books are the same way. Some of these heroes and villains come from these different myths, and even some come from the Bible. So again, it's we have to study to show ourselves approved. It's really crazy, and it sounds ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. But you need to learn what it is so that you don't do what's ridiculous. You're just doing it under a different name or a different tag. There's one Osiris. Most of us have heard of that because that's an Egyptian thing. Osiris, you know, the Egyptian god of the underworld and resurrection, was killed by his brother Set and revived by his wife Isis. He was the father of Horus, and the judge of the day. His birthday was celebrated on the 25th day of the month of Keok. So again, we know that way back in time, the word December wasn't there, but you can go back and look at the time of year when these things were and understand that that's what it was. That's what it gets to. Horus, again, Krishna, Hindu, Buddha. This is when all of these things are being celebrated. Attis, Dionysus, yeah. Heracles or Hercules, Zoroaster, Sol Invictus, there's your son. Adonis, Balder. Balder, I think, is in the comic books, that's like Thor's brother or uncle or something like that. Yeah, there we go. The Norse god of light and joy was the son of Odin in Frigg. Frigg is, I think that's where you get Friday from. Quetzalcoatl, Tammuz. Tammuz is in the Bible, a Sumerian god of vegetation and fertility. So again, That's literally in the Bible. There's a scripture that talks about them, the women weeping for Tammuz. Actually, even on the Hebrew calendar, there's a month called Tammuz because the months, just like the months on the Gregorian calendar, are called after pagan gods. Same thing on the Hebrew calendar. That lets you know how entrenched our people were in this. Freya, that's Friday right there, Freya. That even on the Hebrew calendar today, those months are called after pagan gods still. Freya, that's where you get Friday from. And Nimrod. Nimrod goes all the way back to Babylon, and that's where these things originate. That's where everything originates, and it just kind of comes down throughout time, changing names. Here's another list because there are more than just the ones that we just listed. But again, um, born on December 4th, 25th, 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 25th. It has nothing to do with Yahweh. They even put Jesus Christ there because honestly, Jesus Christ is a Christian religion, Roman creation. It's not Yahweh of the Bible. It's a creation, a Roman God. It's not the same thing. You got to do your research to understand these things. Again, just more information, and that's why you'll see a lot of these things rival some of the same stories that are told about Yahweh. But you know not what you worship, as it says in the word. You know not what you worship. So it's important to read and get some understanding of these different things. So those are just some things about Christmas. But we're going to take it even further because we are not off the hook. Let's go to Daniel. Uh, Daniel 7 and 23. Let me get this up. So needless to say, stay away from um, celebrating that, celebrating Kwanzaa, celebrating any of these different things that are so-called Christmas replacements. None of them are commanded of us to do in the Bible. None of them. So stay away from them. But anyway, we're going to do Daniel 7:23 through 25. Daniel 7:23 through 25. Got it? Daniel 7:23 through 25.
Thus he fourth beast, fourth kingdom upon the earth shall be diverse from all kingdoms, shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. He shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and a times and dividing of time.
John. So this is the 4 beast prophecy of Daniel. That 4th beast is Rome. We've discussed that in a prior teaching, but the 4th beast is Rome. So whether we know it or not, and the 4th beast is the last beast in power before Yahweh comes. So we are literally still under the power of the 4th beast right now. We just don't realize it. Again, 4th beast is Rome. We know about Catholics, but it's Roman Catholics, Roman Catholicism. Roman Catholicism is a mother religion to Islam, to of course Christianity. So so y'all are actually doing sun worship under Rome. That's why they had Rome. That's why they had Jesus Christ listed as a Roman God, because that's not the Elohim of the Bible. That's not the Son, the Son of the Most High. Jesus Christ is a name. There's no J in Hebrew. That's not the image of him. All of these things were created. What they say about him is what they say about him in Christianity. That's all created, but it's far different from what's in the Bible. That's why we actually have to read what's in the Bible. But in this situation, it says, of course, Rome was diverse or different from all of the other kingdoms. And it said it's going to let me see, it's going to devour the whole earth. So if we were to take a poll of the largest religion on the earth, we know it's Christian. Most people are going to say Christianity, and this again, it really descends from Babylon, but it goes under the name of Roman Catholicism because Catholics consider themselves Christians. Even people that don't follow the Bible will say, "Yeah, I'm a Christian," and wear a cross and stuff like that. It's not according to the Bible. But anyway, this fourth beast, Rome, Pope, all of these different representations are going to speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High. The saints are Israelites. We talked about that in another lesson. And think to change times and laws. So when it says times here, what does times refer to? What does times refer to? Any idea?
Could it be like the months?
It's definitely the months, and it's also appointed times. So appointed times, another way of saying appointed times would be feast days, or another way of saying feast days would be holy days. So the holy days that the Most High said, tells us to celebrate in His Word. So they're seeking to change those different things, change the holy feast days that are prescribed, by the Most High and they're changing them to their holidays, and those holidays, like we're talking about, they're all abominations. They have nothing to do with the Most High. You got some Judah Nick?
So we also have to remember, as G said earlier, we all know Gregorian calendar, which is not correct. We read scripture carefully, we know that the year starts somewhere during spring. So all the holy days would have to be from spring onwards, not January, spring onwards. So the beginning of spring, if you want to go somewhere around spring and you want to start from there, hey man, all praises. At least you're trying. But if you start in January, you off. But at least you're trying. At least you're trying. But the year starts somewhere during spring, not January.
God, I mean, and one like very, very simple way to look at it is September. That's sept, that's 7. October, that's
It's
8.
8. Yep.
Even though October is the 10th month on the Gregorian calendar, you can keep on going. Nov, that's 9. You can keep on going. December, that's 10. That's 10. Decade 10, that's 10.
Yeah.
So, but it's the 12th month. So again, there's a lot of deception, going on right here. The actual year does begin in the spring. It actually does begin in the spring by the luminaries in the seasons that the Most High has created. So there's, like we said before, there's a lot of information out there regarding these different things, but we have to do the research. So these holidays. So how do we get from the Most High's feast days and holy days to holidays? And as we were saying, this stuff has been happening for a very long time, throughout time, and it goes up. Things change and stuff like that. But we're going to get a little whiff of just when this started happening, and there are records of it because the Bible is true, and it's all, not only is it a spiritual book, but it's also a history book. It's the history of the Most High's people, the Israelites. So we're going to see in this history book, what it says. Let's do First Maccabees. We're going to do First Maccabees 1 and 33 through 43. There we go. First Maccabees 1, 33 through 43. You got it, Judah Nick?
Then builded they that city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
So where is the city of David? Anybody know where the city of David is? What country is the city of David in?
In Jerusalem, no?
It's in Israel. That's right. So right here it's saying they then builded they the city of David, a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And let's see what it says going on. Who this they and them is. 34.
And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
So this is the sacking of Jerusalem. This is when things began to change and we got occupied. This is before Yahweh got here on earth as and so this is why when he was here, Israel was occupied by Rome. This is why this is why that sinful nation of wicked men was in power during the time of Yahweh and the disciples. In the book of Maccabees, we see how this began to happen. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's keep on going.
They stored it also with armor and victuals, and when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there, and so they became a sore snare.
Mm-hmm.
For it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, and an evil adversary to Israel.
God. So again, against the sanctuary, an evil adversary enemy, such that means Hasatan, adversary to Israel. This is what Rome was. Again, fourth beast. All right, keep on going.
Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it.
Mm-hmm.
Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an inhabitant of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her. So, just to clarify, strangers took over, and the people who were native to that region were no longer in there.
God.
And
God.
Yeah,
there were some of them, but many of them, many of them rolled out. There was a lot of persecution, a lot of killing and things of that nature. So they left.
And her own children left her. Yeah. So
and the her here is Israel, the nation, because the nation is spoken of as a she, because the nation as a country is the wife of Yahweh. So that's why it's spoken of as a her. All right, 39. Yep, 39.
Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning. Her Sabbaths into a reproach. Her honor into contempt.
So feasts, holy days, appointed time, turned into mourning. They were crushed. Her Sabbaths into a reproach. Her honor into contempt. So all of the things that we were doing to honor the Most High, these law, statutes, and commandments, they were being laid waste or removed, from us. We weren't allowed to do these different things. They were being, we would be killed, and that's actually another part of the Maccabees, where we literally would be killed for keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Literally, this is why there was a lot of killing and a lot of bloodshed. As I said, innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it. All right, 40.
As had been her glory, as her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning.
And again, that's that her is the nation of Israel. And 41.
Moreover, the king of Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
So we see Antiochus, and where was the place that we saw that many of the in the book of Acts and some of our studies in Acts, where we were going many a time, where were our people going many times? In Antioch. So we see that was actually a king. It was actually the Greeks, and the Greeks turned into the Romans, as it over the course of time. So and again it says that he wrote to the whole kingdom, because they conquered a lot of territory, that all should be one people. So who are we as Israel? Who are we supposed to be one with?
Yahweh?
Absolutely. Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. We're supposed to be, one with them. So if we are not one with them, is that a good or a bad thing?
One with the
It's absolutely a bad thing. So if we are not one with them, we are estranged from him. Does that make sense? We are estranged from the Father and the Son. Let's see something. What does it mean to be estranged? Let's take a look at this real quick. What does it mean to be estranged? Blow this up. Estranged of a person, no longer close or affectionate to someone, alienated, of a wife or a husband, no longer living with their spouse. So you're alienated. You're no longer a part of the Father. You're no longer part of that family. You are estranged. Um, and what does it mean to be estranged? If you are estranged, you are a stranger. You are a stranger. So does it make sense? Do we understand why some Israelites were called strangers? In the
Um,
Bible. Go ahead, Judah. Nick.
Also, if we look at the word alien, it also used to mean foreigners or strangers. So that word alien can also explain why in the New Testament Israelites were called under different names, which they were in captivity in those different regions. Hence, they were called Grecians, Romans, and X, Y, and Z. But they were only aliens because the Father had made them estranged to Him because they were breaking commandments.
Con. That's exactly right. We were no longer a part of him, and you can actually see in another part of the Bible where he divorced part of Israel for that reason, because we were doing these abominations and doing what he told us not to do, which because he told us not to follow after these other nations and these other gods. So this is all, again, we're talking about these couple of holidays that people are following right now, and these are just derivations of the same things that we've been doing throughout time, and it's not a good thing for us. Um,
Two,
let's go to 42. Yes, thanks.
and everyone should leave his laws. That's a bad thing. So all the
Mhm.
heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Let's read 41 and 42 just to make sure we're all on this. We all get the full concept. Let's read 41 and 42 again.
Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and
Mhm.
everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. So what we have here is that, again, it's their whole kingdom. So that it's many countries that they conquered. So he wanted them to be a melting pot, basically all under the same understanding, just like they call this country a melting pot. So that was the same thing. So if we can, hopefully, we could begin to see some similarities, but this is a melting pot of people. So when you come in here, you're supposed to be American, and you're supposed to leave your own customs and all these other types of things. This is the same thing where it says right here, and everyone should leave his law. So everyone's own entire their own customs, their own ways about people from all of these other countries. They were supposed to leave them and form under the Grecian or the Roman rule, the Roman laws. So all the heathen didn't have a problem with that. They agreed. They agreed with it. But it's a problem with us. Let's go to 43. And again, for us, these laws, what would these laws be for us that they want us to leave?
They will want us to leave our commandment.
Con. They want us to leave our laws, statutes, and commandments, and that's a problem. Let's go to 43.
Many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath.
God. So again, all of these things are still going on today. So this right here is kind of marking how we don't even know who we are anymore. How you can read a lot more about it in depth in the book of Maccabees. We don't know who we are, how our ways are now. We look at them and they're foreign. When we say these different things about what the truth of the Bible is, it's foreign, and people think we're lying, even though it's been in the Bible the entire time, because we simply do not know, we don't read, and we're unfamiliar with it. So, from seeing all these different things, we can see that we are still under the Roman rule. That's the fourth beast, just like we just read about in Daniel. We see that we're still practicing these different laws, these strange laws of other nations, not our own nation, but these other nations, and we're separated from Yah and Yahweh by doing those different things. And that's very, very evident during this time of year, because we're doing someone else's holidays. We're not doing our holy days. So again, we're joining along. We're doing exactly what he said to do when he wrote to his entire kingdom, to get rid of our laws and that we should all be one people. So this is why Christmas is celebrated all over the world. This is why New Year's. This is why New Year's when they do the little fireworks and stuff like that, they're showing pictures from all over the world. Why? Because took he it said he's gonna conquer the world. I forgot what the word he used up a few verses up, but he was going to subdue the world. I believe that's what it said. So that's why you see these different things, even though different people may have different calendars, like the Chinese calendars, stuff like that. But again, this is all a problem. And if we go back to the beginning of the lesson, we see that all of these things are going right back to idol worship, and he had a lot of words against idol worship this entire time. So we went through Christmas already. We're already past that. The next thing coming up is so-called New Year's, New Year's, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And Judah Nick already mentioned that the actual New Year starts like in the springtime when the new life begins. Things begin to spring forward. And that's actually the way it used to be, even around the world. But we may see a little bit of that as we go on. Let me share my screen. But the new year brings about Father Time. Most people have heard about Father Time. So I just looked up Father Time. Now, Father Time, these are some images of what's supposed to be Father Time, you know. And one thing that we see about Father Time, he always has this little sickle with him. And sometimes he has a baby with him too. That baby doesn't look too comfortable. Right there.
The Magic's sickle was also like a Reaper or something.
God,
Reaper.
that's actually another depiction of
Oh,
Father
for
Time,
real?
the Grim Reaper. That's like
Ah,
that's like the other side of him, the Grim Reaper. Um,
uh,
you see him holding a time instrument. He may have a time instrument. He'll be accompanied with a child, and there are different little myths regarding that. And he will have this sickle with him. You'll see that pretty much in all of these different and most depictions of him. And so this one, you can see he looks closer to a Grim Reaper right here. Looks a bit evil. You see the timepiece, you see the sickle, you know. So a little closer to the Grim Reaper appearance. Time, the sickle, a little close to the Grim Reaper appearance. You see what I'm saying? So let's look at this a little bit. Another name that for Father Time originally was the god Kronos.
oh man, that's in the game too. That's in Smite as well. I'm not lying.
Is that
Whole,
right?
whole Greek letters and everything around it when you cast spells.
It's crazy, man. So we
Oh,
see how deep this thing goes. And it says Kronos, and now this is a slightly different one. Kronos with a KH was envisioned as an incorporeal god, serpentine in form, with three heads, that of a man, a bull, and a lion. So we already have a little a serpent like God going on here, and it's a crazy story about it. Primordial world egg. I mean, all kinds of craziness. But let's go a little bit further. The figure of Kronos was essentially a cosmological double of the Titan Kronos, and right here it says Kronos, Father Time. Let's click on this. Kronos, Father Time. Let me see if I can stretch this out. I don't know if it's going to show it on here. Let me see. What is one of the symbols of Kronos? A sickle. Father Time. So again, these things just change. That first Kronos was Greek. This one is Roman, and he also goes by Saturn, Saturday. So that's why you'll see that these days of the week, they actually all go back to gods, all of these different gods and stuff like that. But Kronos, Saturn, Father Time, these are all gods. New Year's Day, you're worshiping a God. That's what all of these different things are. So let's see if we can find out what's going on with the children. Kronos was the king of the Titans and the god of time. In particular, time when viewed as a destructive, all-devouring force. So destruction, Grim Reaper. He ruled the cosmos during the Golden Age after castrating and deposing his father, Uranus or Uranus sky, in fear of prophecy that he would in turn be overthrown by his own son. Kronos swallowed each of his children as they were born. Now do we see why those children are there?
Damn.
He's crushing them joints. Rhea managed to save the youngest, Zeus, by hiding him away on the island of Crete and fed Cronus a stone wrapped in swaddling clothes. So we see why. So again, you can read more about this stuff, but it's just their fairy tales. But Kronos, Father Time, what they'll say is that Father Time is old in that he's the old year going out and the baby is the new year coming in. But we're seeing but you got to understand the origins of things. What we were just reading was part of the origin of what's going on and what this stuff represents. So that's what you have to understand. So that's why he has this joint. he is not happy. He's about to do something with this child. It's not what they tell you. We have to do the research for ourselves. Grim Reaper. All right. Now let's look at something else here. New Year's. Let me see. This might be too big. I don't know. Happy New Year. Something that's been here for a while. It looks like the New Year is an event that let me see if I can scroll down. I think I had something. Hope I didn't highlight it. I think I took it off. Let's see. Taking that off. The part that I wanted us to read. Within many cultures, the use of fireworks and other noise making is a major part of the celebration. So many cultures, again, stuff is being conquered, and it's all over the world. This New Year situation. Let me see. The ancient Roman calendar had only 10 months. We just talked about that. It started the year on the 1st of March, which is still reflected in the names of some of the months, which derive from Roman numerals. September 7th, October 8th. We just talked about that. Discussed that. And we also know that the names of these different months are again descending from the names of different false gods, pagan gods. Julius Caesar introduced the Julian calendar. So again, there have been many calendars throughout time, but when he introduced the Julian calendar, he created January and made the 1st of January to be the new year. In the Middle Ages in Europe, a number of significant feast days in the ecclesiastical calendar of the Roman Catholic Church came to be used as the beginning of the year. So we see a lot of changes have been made over time. Seek to change times and laws. So we see these things being changed. Rome in the Catholic Church, Rome, the fourth beast, is going to seek to change times and laws. So we see these things. We see these things happening. There's that picture of Father Time. It all lines up. Y'all can go and research and see these things, for yourselves. Got Father Time riding on a chariot with being pulled by a serpent. All of these things. There's that scythe or that sickle again. Please do your research. When you're celebrating these things, it's not what you think it is. The Roman calendar or that Julian calendar was thrown out at a certain point, and the Gregorian calendar replaced it. That's what we are on in the States right now. We're on the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar has some things in common with the Julian calendar, but it's a different calendar. Still, it was created by or authorized by a Roman Pope. Pope is Pope Gregory. I forgot what. I'm sure we can find it in here, but he was Pope Gregory something. That's why it's the Gregorian calendar. So again, all of these things are Rome. Let me see. My highlights went away. I had certain parts highlighted, but they're not highlighted anymore for some reason. Some atheists, Muslims, and Christians fundamentalists like to grumble and jibe that the celebration of Christmas and Easter are pagan. They are right. and they are wrong. They are, in as much as the well springs of Western culture are deep in the pre-Christian cultures of Europe. They are wrong because the early Christians, like the Hebrews, became before them, saw their religion as a contrast and corrective to a prevailing pagan culture. So again, and this even again mentions, where these days, some of these days come from. TU Tuesday, Wotan Wednesday, Thor Thursday, Frigg Friday, Saturn Saturday, and again Saturn again is Janus. Janus is where we get the month of January from. Janus is a god, a two-faced god. So January, bringing into the new year, you're still celebrating a god. These are images of Janus right here. Two-face. So again, we've just been deceived. That's why we know not what we worship. We know not what we worship. This is in Forbes magazine. Why did early Christians and pagans fight over New Year's Day? Uh-oh. All right. Are you able to see this, Judah Nick?
Yeah, yeah. The temple was a Rome's
Capitolani.
Capitolani
Mm-hmm.
hill. A vow was then made to invoke safety for the Roman people and the Republic in the coming year. Elsewhere in the city, worshippers at the temple to these words, bro.
The god of medicine on the Tiber Island.
Celebrated the temple's dedication on January 1st of 29 BCE. The Romans looked to Janus, the god of new beginnings, but clearly also thought of Jupiter and, yeah, too.
The god of medicine. Uh-huh.
But
Crazy.
later, the imperial period, the celebration centered more on the emperor and was extended to 5 days. The third day was now the one reserved for the voter to the health of the emperor and the empire. It was then followed by a series of chariot races that eventually lasted up to 3 days.
So again, we're just seeing how this is all Roman culture. It has nothing to do with Israelite culture whatsoever. And we also see that it's surrounding the worship of other gods, made up pagan gods. Um, Again, it's absolutely a pagan religion. Not a pagan religion, but a pagan practice. I know it's getting kind of late, and my highlights are gone. What I wanted to highlight on here, but it's just more of the same. That's showing us exactly throughout history what the stuff where these things have come from. And again, it definitely descends from pagan culture. So when you're popping bottles and and spending whoever knows how much to go to these New Year's parties, you're committing an abomination. The history of New Year's. In 46 BCE, the Roman Empire Emperor Julius Caesar first established January 1st as New Year's Day. Janus was the Roman god of doors and gates and had two faces. We just looked at him, one looking forward and one looking back. Caesar felt that the month named after the god, which is January, would be the appropriate door to the year. Caesar celebrated the first January 1 New Year by ordering the violent routing of revolutionary Jewish forces in Galilee. This is not Jewish as we see Jewish today. These are Israelites. So the first New Year was ordered by ordering the violent routing of revolutionary Jew or Israelite forces in Galilee. A lot of bloodshed. Eyewitnesses say blood flowed in the streets. In later years, Roman pagans observed the new year by engaging in drunken orgies, a ritual that they believe constituted a personal reenacting of the chaotic world that existed before the cosmos was ordered by the gods. All pagan stuff. So there's your drinking in the middle of the night, or toasting and drinking at midnight, or whatever the case is. It's a ritual. Drunken orgies. As Christianity spread, pagan holidays were either incorporated into the Christian calendar or abandoned altogether. By the early medieval period, most of Christian Europe regarded Annunciation Day as the beginning of the year, according to the Catholic tradition. We won't go through that. Let me see. This kind of goes through how they went on and accepted it again. And there it is. After 500 years later, 1582, Pope Gregory um, abandoned the traditional Julian calendar because of some issues with the timing, and he created another calendar, the Gregorian calendar. And again, that's what we're on right now. The Gregorian calendar differs from the Julian calendar in three ways. You can research that on your, by yourself. But again, this all is pagan information. This is all pagan celebrations. The history of New Year's resolution, the History Channel website. All we got to see is very early on to again know what we're doing is something off about it. The ancient Babylonians are said to have been the first people to make New Year's resolutions some 4,000 years ago. They were also the first to hold recorded celebrations in honor of the new year, though for them the year began not in January but in mid-March when the crops were planted. So again, Babylonian. If you really want to go back and look at Christianity and all these other things, it descends from Babylon. That's if you go all the way back, it descends from Babylon. And again, a Roman god with no Greek counterpart, Janus, January. So we just wanted to display some things so we understand we're amidst some evil practices. There's nothing to take part in whatsoever if you're trying to worship the true Elohim of the Bible. So we got a couple more scriptures, and then we're going to get out of here. Let me get to it. We're going to go to the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua, Joshua 24. We're going to do 14 through 24. Let me get this shared. Lost my button again. The book of Joshua. Joshua 24, 14 through 24. So, can you get that, Judah?
14 to 24?
Yeah.
Now therefore fear the Lord and serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve. Whether the gods which your father served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
God. Mm-hmm.
And the people answered and said, God forbid that we should forsake the Lord to serve other gods.
Mm-hmm.
For Lord our God, he it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way that we went, and among all the people through whom we passed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord drave out from before us all the people, even the Amorites which dwelt in the land. Therefore we will also serve the Lord, for he is our God.
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua said unto the people, you cannot serve the Lord, for he is an holy God, he is a jealous God, he will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins.
So he's saying that because, he knows that some of these people are double-minded. They're saying one thing, but they're going to continue to try to serve the God of the Amorites or the gods of these other people. So he's saying, nah, look, you cannot serve the Lord if you're going to be doing those things. If you're still going to be trying to serve these other gods, for he is a holy God, and he is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins. Basically, if you stay in those sins, you continue to serve those other guys. Judah Nick?
And even Moses knew how Israel was, because I believe just before he was going to pass away or be separated from Israel, he said to them, as soon as he's gone, they would go back to what they was doing prior. Because remember, all it took was Moses to go up a mountain, come back down, and there's a calf back there somehow. So imagine this, he knows Israel's going to go off. So even the father's already knowing. Soon as he takes one prophet away, Israel's going back to straight what they was doing. And even if there is a prophet there, they still gonna do it. So
yeah, we're killing prophets, man. Stiff-necked people. Love the enemy, love the other nations, and don't love our Elohim. That's a problem. And that's why 2/3 of us are going to get taken out. Um,
That's a
um,
nice way of putting it.
that's a nice way, right? Very nice way of putting it. So he said, let's go to 20.
If you forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt. Oof. See, that was a nice way of putting it.
Very nice way of putting it. He's easy with his words right now.
Right, right. And consume you. Uh, After that, he have done you good. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
And the people said unto Joshua, Nay, which means no, but we will serve the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And Joshua said unto the people, You are witnesses against yourselves that you, the Lord, to serve him. And they said, We are witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore put away the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto the Lord God of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And the people said unto Joshua, The Lord our God we will serve, and his voice we will obey.
Con. So that's the way we have to go. But when we say, oh, we believe the Bible, we believe in the God of the Bible, we believe in Jesus, what you're trying to say is you believe in the Elohim of the Bible. And when you say that, then you are being a witness against yourself, because in the Bible it tells us what to do. And again, Joshua 24 and 22. And Joshua said unto the people, Ye are witnesses against yourselves that ye have chosen you, the Lord, to serve him. And they said, We are witnesses. So when we say that, yes, I believe in the Bible, I'm going to follow the Elohim or the God of the Bible, we are witnesses against ourselves when we don't do it. So we're piling on evidence to be for the Israelites to be part of that 2/3 if we are going against the word of the Bible. So again, this is why we have to read the Bible thoroughly and study it. We have to study it. We have to live it out. Pray for him to open our understanding so that we can, live it out properly and grow and understand things spiritually speaking, and get away from the ways of the heathen that we're scared, because we're scattered all over the place. So we have to go back to his ways. That's our natural culture, the law, statutes, and commandments, the covenant that he's only made with Israel, and that's what we have to live in. And that's the proper way, the ancient past, the old past, as it says in the word. So please don't celebrate New Year's, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. That's not something that's for us, and it literally is making you an enemy of the Most High. It's an abomination. So just be careful. But with that, I guess we'll go ahead and close out. You got anything, Judah Nick?
I believe our holy days are in Leviticus chapter 23, if I remember off the top of my head. If anybody wants to learn, and because I know you'd be technically, if you give up stuff, you'd want a replacement in a sense. So Leviticus 23, there's a holy days that actually has meaning to it and not vanity. So if you want stuff to do with your family and all of that, Leviticus 23, I believe, the list of the holy days. It's Leviticus 23 or 13. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And yeah.
Hallelujah. All right. Well, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, we'll go ahead and pray out, and let that be that. Father, again, thank you for the clarification, and thank you for your word. We're lost when we do not take advantage of your word. You are connected to us. You want to be connected to us, but we're the ones that are, forsaking that. And I apologize for myself, for our people, and I ask you to forgive us for doing sin. And I ask you to help to correct us and to bring us back to you, which is according to your word, what you want as well, and what you promise to do. Help us to open up our eyes, give us understanding, so we see what's going on in the world, and that we don't take part of these heathen traditions and these traditions of men, and instead we embrace your word and your ways, Father. Again, we thank you for your patience. We do ask you to come quickly and rescue us out of here. And we just ask you to help us to be more obedient. Please heal our brothers and sisters that are sick. Please heal Sister Dion. those that have come down. I know Q and Adai have flu. Heal those people that are sick with these different diseases, and just continue to open us up spiritually. Please bless us financially, mentally, understanding wise, and in any other way you choose, Father. We appreciate you and help us to honor you more. In Yahweh Shah's name, we do pray these things. Hallelujah. All right. Hey, well, thanks for attending, man. And with that, we'll say shalom.
Shalom. Next Thursday, same time, 7 p.m. Eastern US time for those who are watching.
Hallelujah. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Subscribe. Awaken Israel DMV.